You want to play a Tempest cleric, but you don't feel like being the spell blaster that you always see. Do you want to just go in and just smack people in the face? Well, I have a build for you. This will involve a bunch of books, specifically, and you have to ask your DM if you are allowed to use content from these books. I'm sorry, this isn't all official. I just want to make this because I know I want to play this character at some point at my table, and everything is from what I'm about to say is allowed here. So maybe your DM will be helpful and allow you to do it yourself. Uh, this will involve the Humblewood campaign setting for one particular spell, so it's not exactly necessary, but it's one that I feel like helps this the Tempest Domain cleric a little bit. Then we have the Tempest, which of course you'll just need the player's handbook, so not a crazy one to go after. Then we have the race is actually from the Kobold Press's Ebon Tides book. I hope I pronounced that properly. Uh, and the race is rather interesting. We will go over that probably first. And then the background is from the Dragonlance campaign setting. This character showing off will go to level 8. Don't know how far it'll go in the other stuff whenever I do eventually play them. And yeah, let's get started with looking at them. So first off, let's go over to species. This is from Ebon Tides, the stable elf. Here's some lovely lore that I will let you guys. I'll let it be on here for a minute. And yeah, let's move on down here. I did end up doing the origin manager thing. So normally the ability score increases are actually dexterity is a +2. Then we see something interesting down here. Another one. It's an additional +2. So this race gets 2 +2s. Rather cool. Except it's not. With this one, it also adds a stipulation of decrease one ability score by 1. So, and this is also attached to, this was originally attached to dexterity, this was, I believe, to intelligence. Which basically is a +3 disguise as a 2 +2s. Still cool. I ended up moving it to the +2 up here was for strength. The other one I believe I made into wisdom, and I decreased my dexterity. I believe it would be this one. No, con. Right. I wanted to even. So +2 to strength, +2 to con, and then -1 to con to make it to where it's an even number. The way how I read these, even though technically it says you can, if you gain more than one increase, you cannot apply another one of those increases to the same ability score. This is a decrease, so that's why I'm thinking it doesn't quite apply to this rule. You would have to talk to your DM about that if you are allowed to do this character, mainly because it already starts off with that. That's why I'm thinking it probably doesn't apply. As we go down here, we got some lovely, lovely dark vision. You know, classic dark vision, 60 feet. Keen senses, we have proficiency in the perception skill, which, hey, always handy. I do like my characters to see. Fey ancestry, we have advantage on being charmed, and magic can put us to sleep. So that's always something to have in your back pocket. Not everything charms, but those that do can be rather devastating. Of course, we get trance. Trance has always been a lovely feature that elven races get, or species. Can't remember to start using species. 4 hours. It's a classic. The alignment. For my character, I've never cared about alignment stuff. Um, but well, yeah, this one even says the alignments vary because apparently they're exiled people. Um, but I believe the character I'm planning on building. This isn't the actual character. This is just a model I quickly made. Uh, that's not the name and whatnot. I believe they are lawful or chaotic good. It's one or the other. I cannot remember off the top of my head. Then we have Blood Affinity. This is one of the coolest of things for a race to give spells. Basically, you choose a school of magic. All the main schools of magic are here. This does not include um, Dunamancy or Chronomancy or any other spell types that people can use from any other book. I could be forgetting one, if I am, sorry. So you pick one. I chose evocation for this, and basically, oh shoot, you get to pick a cantrip. First off, that is actually correlated with the type. Now, all these spells for this feature go based off of intelligence. I want to make that clear. You cannot change this. It has to be intelligence. So for the cantrip, I chose Booming Blade. Booming Blade for a melee cleric that doesn't get extra, that you don't like try to go out of your way to get extra attack is pretty nice. You and you'll see, with the spells that the class gets at default, as well as your usual weapon attacks with Booming Blade, you're gonna see a lot of consistent damage numbers. At least I've seen fairly consistent ones. Then you have Thunder Smite. Uh, Now here's the thing, and something that I've always messed up with Smite spells, which I took another look and realized that I've been misusing them the entire time, or not using them for the wrong reason. I always thought, okay, if the enemy makes a save, it's half the damage on the attack itself, like the extra 2d6. It is not. I took another reading. It's 2d6, and then they make the save. So that is on me. This will just do pretty good extra damage, and hey, maybe have an extra 10 feet of push. And then Lightning Bolt. There are a bunch of good invocation spells here that I could go over, but I think Lightning Bolt, especially with what you get at 6th level for a Tempest domain, is a really good. Okay, get everyone that's in this line 10 feet further from me. I know lightning people you usually do a Tempest domain and a Storm Sorcerer multi-class, so you have access to Lightning Bolt to be able to activate your thing for. Though that being really good, I think I want to use this as a more of a defensive thing because even unless they're immune to lightning damage, they will be sent back 10 feet, and that could be the make or break. Something that at least our table usually allows is for abilities that gain you spells, they're treated like the Fey and not Fey Ancestry, a Fey touched and Shadow touch feat where we could do them again if we expend a spell slot, of equal level. If your DM doesn't allow that, that's fine. You're still getting two extra nice spells. And you're gonna see there's a lot of crowd control with this character. Oh, I am sorry, my mic is loving having to make a lot of random sounds. Um, but yeah, so that, and of course languages. We have Elvish and Umbral. I believe Umbral is specifically in Ebontide's language. I could be mistaken. Um, which if it is, maybe your DM would want to incorporate some Ebontides. Uh, some of the lore for it is rather interesting. So I don't know. Again, that's up to your lovely, lovely DM. Now let's go to background real quick. This one is from Dragonlance. Uh, you can probably just ignore this unless your DM says like you could only you really can only do it from there. So first off, with this feat, it gets us some proficiencies, Arcana and History. Not bad. Because even though I'm saying, intelligence is not going to be like our best spell casting, it's still going to be a pretty decent one. Or not decent, but like you'll have a couple points into it. So these won't actually be that bad. Language, bippity boppity boop, same as always, just pick a language. Uh, you get the innate high sorcery feat. If you don't know how this works, there are 3 innate high sorceries. You pick one, and they'll give you basically. Okay, I can show you. So I picked and I'm hoping I pronounce this right. Nuturai. I hope I pronounced that right. Uh, Basically, you need this background or to be a wizard or sorcerer. And basically, you pick one of the schools. Again, Nuturai, and you pick 2 spells from whatever list it is. So I'm this top one, so I got to choose from Dissonant Whispers, False Life, Hex, and Ray of Sickness. And I also got to pick a cantrip. This one, unlike from the Rays, this one you can pick which score you want to go by. So I picked Wisdom because be a only cleric. So Wisdom. I chose Thunderclap because even though the spell's not that great, it's still pretty cool. It's a spell that does thunder damage, and it's a pretty decent area around you. Pretty cool. Uh, then I chose Hex. Uh, Honestly, these spells are fine. I think Hex and Dissonant Whispers are probably your best options of the list. Of like the of like this list of 4. Hex, simple. You get extra damage when you hit your melee attacks. Dissonant Whispers, extra crowd control, which you will be decent at with the spell because of it going based off of Wisdom and not Intelligence or any other spellcasting modifier for that matter. Of fact. Then we have the class. Uh, this is 2014 Tempest. So I've not looked at what if I were to build this character in 2024. I know Tempest Domain isn't in the PHB for 2024, but it would apply the other stuff that the new clerics get. So I'm not quite sure how much it would change, benefit, etc. Again, you'd have to talk to your DM if you want to do that. I'm just going with the regular one from 2014. You get heavy armor and martial weapon proficiencies. These are great. Destructive Wrath is one of the best jam divinities in 2014. Just maxing out the roll of any thunder or lightning damage spell without using a reaction, for an ability that just comes back on a short rest. That's pretty cool. Wrath of Storms, I like. I've always liked this. Simply a cleric's version of Hellish Rebuke. This is cool. And no matter what, it scales whenever you get your Wisdom high, because your saving throw increases for each point you have in Wisdom, obviously. However, you gain more charges the higher your Wisdom is as well. So now you're boosting up how many times you could use this and how high the DC is. And realistically, these are basically a bunch of spells that you can do as a this is cleric's Hellish Rebuke that they can do, at least for us, 3 times with the current Wisdom, which we'll show that in a minute. But a cleric at level 8 that just goes for more Wisdom based and more blasty could potentially have it up to 5 at this point, which is pretty good. That's all of equivalent spells. Anyway, for the first feat, I chose Great Weapon Master. Again, we are going in for the melee. So if we can land with a Booming Blade, Great Weapon Master hit, which our weapon is going to be the Warhammer, and holding it two-handed. So our AC is going to be a little lower. However, it would benefit with the Wrath of Storms because, hey, enemies are going to hit us a little bit more often, which means that we're able to use our reaction to send them potentially flying back and maybe even not even hitting us anymore. Yeah. -5, +10. It's classic. It's good. And hey, depending on how your turn works, maybe you'll be able to get that bonus action attack off. I'm not assuming that. Then we get Lightning Bolt Strike. When you deal lightning damage to a larger or smaller creature, you can simply push it back 10 feet from you. Sadly, this is not thunder damage. I wish it was lightning and thunder damage. I feel like that would have been really fun, but still lightning damage. That's still fun. We still get some lightning options. Uh, I'm gonna go over Divine Strike first, and then the last feat. Basically, uh, this is your extra damage for attacks. This one is an extra 1d8 thunder damage. So now we're getting 1d8 thunder damage from the Booming Blade. Potentially 2 extra more after that if they move, which, keep that in mind. There's a chance they could move. And now we're getting a d10, because we're always going to try holding it two-handed. And then an extra 1d8 thunder damage. Now let's go over the last feat. This is the Adept of the Black Robes. So this is a secondary feat that you have to have the previous feat from the background. This one's the Black Robe. This one I feel like works really well for the Tempest domain for one simple reason. So first off, it goes based off of your Wisdom modifier again, but you get to choose a second level spell of my choice from the Enchantment or Necromancy schools, which all these spells are pretty good. I haven't fully decided properly what I would want the extra spell to be for my character yet. So I went as a classic hold person, even though it's already on the cleric spell list. I could be like, hey, I can get a free one per day, which would be nice. However, we have Life Channel. For those who don't know how this ability works, when a creature that you can see within 60 feet of you fails saving throw against a spell that deals damage that you cast, so you have to be the one casting this, you can expend a number of hit dice equal to the level of the spell, and expend the hit dice and add them together, and then the damage increases of that spell depending on how much you roll. Now I know I said this is a melee prioritizing Tempest domain, but we still can do extra crowd control with spells, a lot of extra damage with spells, because what's interesting about this Life Channel is the hit dice that you roll. Now this is my interpretation of the rules, so again, your DM might have an issue with this. My interpretation of the rules are this ability, if you apply it to a thunder or lightning damage spell, it would also apply for the Destructive Wrath ability. So now, let's say, even for a simple Shatter, which you do get on this cleric spell list, which these are the basic spells that this cleric gets. Don't worry about the legacy. That's because 2014. It's a whole thing. But Shatter. So it does 3d8 thunder damage. Let's keep it at level 2. Like, let's say we cast it at level 2. Enemy fails the con save. I decide this Destructive Wrath as well as Life Tether. So now I remove 2 hit dice from my pool. And now, instead of dealing 3d8 thunder damage, or at most 24 damage, now it is 40 damage to one creature. Keep in mind, the Life Tether only works against one creature, but however, the Destructive Wrath works on all the creatures that are in that area. Again, that's how I understand the rules, and I think either way, even if it isn't how the rules work, I would say it's fine. I mean, you're sacrificing a rather very important resource. Your hit dice are very, very important. Don't underestimate the die pool. And yeah, the damage is whatever damage type that the spell does. That's why I would say it qualifies under being able to be used. And yeah, ability scores. We're not going over that. We're not going over the extra spell quite yet. So the strength is a 17. I plan on getting an extra feat eventually. That'll get a +1 to strength. Probably Crusher. Crusher would be great for this build. Dexterity is low. We're not going to be worrying about dexterity much. Con is 14. You gotta remember, even though I got +2 -1, that rounds me up to 14, which is fine. We have decent HP. Intelligence is a 12. Even though I said that your intelligence spells aren't gonna quite matter, it helps with your proficiencies. It does help with the more intelligence-based ones, and a 12 is better than a potential 8. By this is standard point array. You can do point buy, you can do manual roll. We do manual roll, but I wanted to show off a standard array, which still turned out fine for a level 8. Maybe a little on the underpowered side a pinch, but it should be fine. Wisdom is a 14. I wish we would have been able to have that be a little higher, but 14 is still solid. And then charisma for 10. We could be a little social. Standard cleric equipment. I have not added anything extra other than what the default would be. I don't know why I have the shield on. And let's look at the character sheet. So I don't know why it gets cut off down here. I don't know if that's for a website change or something. So we have 6 in the armor class in general. Sure, a little low initiative, but it's fine. We have a decent to hit chance. At most, we can get a high of 25. That's not a critical hit, which isn't terrible. Could be better, but isn't terrible. We could turn undead, of course, if we have a turn undead, which we'll have 2 of them at this point. Great Master Attack for the bonus action. Oh, so my bad. I said we had a 16. We actually have 14, so we only get 2 of these per long rest. That's still more spell slots, based equivalent of stuff. And I would always recommend lightning damage because it will always knock back an enemy. So potentially, like if they have to move towards you, like okay, if an enemy has 30 feet movement, they have to move all 30 feet, and then they hit you, and then you can send them back because no matter what, unless they're immune, you deal lightning damage to them. You can just send them back. Yeah, Channel Divinity twice per long rest. And now let's take a look at the final thing to know of, which also we have decent proficiencies. I don't know if these are the exact proficiencies that I chose, but they might. Now let's look at the extra spell that I picked. So all these spells are cool. I think one that helps out this one a lot, and is like I would say is rather fun, because you can do like a little bit of a combo, is Stellar Bodies. This is the one from Humblewood. Basically, how the spell works is when you cast the spell, you get 2 basically Starry Wisps above your head. Which by this upcast, you gain an extra Starry Wisp every 2 levels upcast. So at a 6th level spell slot, well, this is 4th level. At 6th level spell slot, you're going to have 3. And have an 8th level spell slot, it will be 4. Basically how this works is, if you want to, as an action, you could throw it and do a little area, or throw it at an enemy, which if it hits, it deals 48 radiant damage, and then the target must make a con save or be blinded. Keep in mind, you just have to throw it at them first. Then it'll do damage, and then they make the save. So damage is already applying early. Blindness could be good. Con save, but it's fine. You're still doing guaranteed damage as long as you hit. What's cool though is for each starry, like I'm gonna just call it a star bubble above your head. For each one that's above your head, which this also provides a light around you, depending on how many lights there are above you. This lasts for a minute, and if an enemy hits you, each time they hit you, they have to make a Wisdom save. And basically, if they fail the wisdom save, also by the enemy has to be in 5 feet. If they hit you with a melee attack, uh, they take a D8 of radiant damage for each orb orbiting you. So now you have this going off, which is an extra 2d8 radiant damage for one attack. You could also have the uh, you could also have the Wrath of the Storm, so it's another 2d8 of lightning or thunder damage. Again, thunder. Uh, and yeah, you have so many things benefiting you that this could be rather very fun. You could also, if you want to, have like a hex on someone, so that's an extra d6. You have a very consistent damage output with this. And then, of course, you have your regular Tempest domain where you could do a big shatter. Heck, call lightning, which I was previously wrong on how it properly works. But I think this is a fun character. I plan on playing it eventually. I don't know exactly when. And I just want to make this little video. Thank you guys for hearing me ramble about a character. I might do this more often because in my mind, I like doing a bunch of characters. Like, seeing what I could tweak around with and whatnot. Like, I get these, like, random spurts of ideas. And, yeah, I might do more of these. Uh, if you guys like it. Uh, if you like this sort of commentary, I guess, about a character build, I know there are a bunch of optimizers, not optimancers. Although that would be a very funny subclass name, actually. Now you want to build a subclass around it. Anyway, I need to stop rambling now. If any God damn it, optimizers, uh, see some things that I could have done with the stuff I had in mind, like in this. Hey, I'd be cool. I'd be down to hear out hey, maybe an optimizer, because optimizers definitely know a lot more of the rules than I do. Maybe the destructive wrath would not work on the hit on the life tether ability of the black robes because such and such. Again, I don't know. That's just my interpretation of the rules. If someone would like to correct me on that, I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. And as always, stay tuned for more. I gotta get ready for another recording. So yeah, uh, be good. Bye bye.